In a quiet corner of a little girl's bedroom lived Amber, a curious, golden hamster with fur as soft as sunshine. Her world was a maze of tunnels, chew toys, and the ever-spinning wheel she ran on every night like it was her life's mission. Amber loved her cozy cage, but deep down, she often gazed through the clear plastic walls, dreaming of a world beyond the bars. She imagined grassy fields, grand mountains made of laundry piles, and far-off lands where hamsters ruled kingdoms. One rainy afternoon, when the girl forgot to latch the cage door after cleaning, Amber saw her chance. With a twitch of her nose and a flutter of excitement in her paws, she tiptoed to the edge and made the leap of her life. The floor stretched out before her like an endless savanna. Every carpet fiber was a new challenge, every shadow a mystery. She zipped under the bed, where dust bunnies danced and forgotten toys whispered tales of the past. She scurried through the hallway, dodging socks and shoelaces, until she reached the living room. There, she stared up at the towering couch. It looked like a mountain from her tiny perspective. With determined hops and a helpful dangling scarf, Amber climbed the mighty couch and peeked out across the room. A glimmer caught her eye. The family fish tank sparkled like a magical portal, and she knew she had to get closer. On her way, Amber encountered a new foe, the family's robotic vacuum, whom she named Growl Bucket. It roared to life and charged at her with blinking lights, sending her tumbling behind the coffee table in a daring escape. Her heart thumped wildly, but Amber refused to turn back. She squeezed beneath the bookshelf and emerged near the fireplace, where a strange breeze tickled her whiskers from the cracks in the bricks. Intrigued, she followed the breeze to a small vent, and, with a wriggle and a push, squeezed inside. It was a tunnel like no other, cool and metallic, winding through walls and ceilings. She zipped through the vent maze, her paws tapping on the cool surface. Tiny bits of lint became obstacles, and sudden gusts of air made her squeak and spin like a leaf in the wind. After what felt like hours, she landed with a gentle plop inside a laundry basket in the upstairs hallway. The smell of fabric softener and warm towels comforted her, reminding her briefly of her cozy cage. But there was no turning back now. Amber pressed on, crawling through a sleeve and tumbling onto the hallway floor. Before her stood the grand door to the backyard, a shimmering doorway of sunlight and possibility. The door was open, just a crack. With a brave puff of her chest, Amber squeezed through and stepped onto the wooden deck. For the first time, she felt the wind in her fur and heard birds chirping above her like a cheering crowd. The grass beneath her paws was thick and wild, like a jungle. She bounded forward, her eyes wide with wonder. Butterflies fluttered by like living balloons, and every rock became a castle waiting to be explored. Suddenly, the clouds above turned dark. A rumble of thunder rolled in the distance. Amber's ears twitched. She'd never heard a storm from outside the safety of her cage. Raindrops began to fall, big and cold. The grass turned slippery, and Amber's adventure turned into a scramble for shelter. She darted under a flower pot, trembling but determined not to panic. As the rain poured harder, Amber realized how far she'd come. She missed the warmth of her bedding and the gentle hum of the house. The world was beautiful, yes, but also wild and overwhelming. Through the storm, she spotted the back porch light flicker on. The door opened, and a familiar pair of slippers stepped outside. It was the girl, calling softly, worriedly, holding a tiny towel in her hand. Amber peeked from under the pot. The girl knelt down, her eyes scanning the yard. With a tiny squeak, Amber dashed toward her, leaping into the towel like it was a warm cloud. Wrapped safely and lovingly, Amber was carried back inside. The house smelled like dinner and clean floors. She felt the warmth of home seep back into her fur as the girl gently dried her off. Back in her cage, with fresh bedding and a tiny treat, Amber sat still for a moment. Her wheel spun slowly, almost like it was waiting to hear her tales from the world beyond the walls. Though she was home again, Amber felt different, braver, wiser, a little bit soggy, but satisfied. She knew the world was out there, waiting, but for now, she was exactly where she needed to be. The stars twinkled outside her window as she curled into a ball, her tiny heart full of stories and dreams. Tomorrow, she thought, she'd write about the Growl Bucket and the thunderstorm in her mind. And with a content sigh, Amber the hamster drifted into sleep, her wheels still, her dreams vast, and her spirit ready for the next great adventure.